Hello, this is Wrap-Up Weekly. My name is Henry Keane, and my guest today, Deputy Minister of Defence of Ukraine in years 2020-23, Defence Attaché of Ukraine to the United States in 2015-2018, retired Major General Volodymyr Havrylov. General, thank you so very much for finding time and joining us.
Hello.
Hello. First of all, of course, Poland, Russian drones. Well, sir, how do you assess NATO's response? Well, better asked, is there any response in the first place?
It's a little bit unexpected situation for NATO.
Right.
It's not the first time that some kind of drones, they cross the airspace in Romania, for example, or in Baltic states, but in this time they faced a huge number, more than up to 20 drones they found on the territory of Poland, deep in the country, not on the border, but deep in the country.
Right.
And it was a huge confusion for NATO because they always expected that there will be no kind of escalation of Russian airspace activities. And that's why there was a mixed reaction. First of all, Poland raised the alarm. So they applied Article 4. Article 4 is consultations with partners in NATO, what to do next. But for us, is the signal that there is no airspace protection of NATO on the eastern borders. They are not ready on the same level as we are ready every day to face the new threats from airspace like drones.
Right, well, what does it mean? From your experience as a Ukrainian military attaché in the United States, what does communication coordination, within the alliance, in times of crisis, what is the coordination and how does it look like in reality? Is there a structure? Is the structure rigid, flexible? Yet again, does the structure even exist?
The mechanism and process of consultations exists in NATO on many levels.
Right.
Of course, they immediately distribute that information among themselves, and then they have more or less clear protocols on what to do in terms of the consultation. They still have a little experience how to adequately react on the ground, because they were never faced this. That's why on bureaucratic level, they do their best. On the ground level, they are not ready.
Right, okay. Well, we obviously saw that because, 4 fighter jets scrambled, in-air refueling unit add to it, ground forces. Is that a bit too much for only 20 drones? Pardon me, I'm saying only, but I know that's only because we had in Ukraine like 800 of them overnight. So we witnessed what we were looking at. What we witnessed, was it a show how we in Europe are ready to deter Russia with that much of effort, or it was a symbolic response? In both cases, sir, if we are NATO, are we ready to deter Russia?
So they acted according to the protocols. And the protocols in air defense of NATO air defense, it means they just took all the aircraft for air defense. They have a patrol every day, on patrol in the airspace, NATO airspace, especially close to the eastern border of the alliance, a number of aircraft of different types from different countries. It's on-duty aircraft. And so they follow the protocol how to apply these aircraft first to shoot down the drones. But they never face the price, the cost of this, because they used rockets, missiles, airborne missiles, which 10 times even more expensive than the small drones.
Right, that's right.
It means that their protocol, the NATO protocols, they don't include other means how to shoot down the small targets like drones, because they don't have the system on the ground, and they don't have a situational awareness in place how to kill down, to shoot down this kind of targets. That's the huge challenge to NATO. We talked to them many times during the last 2 years that please pay attention to that kind of threat, that your expensive airborne platforms are very inefficient and from cost of view. So sooner or later you will face the price target for all your operations. But they were very slow in doing that, and I think this is the first case in the story of NATO they have to do some conclusions
right.
and to change the approach to that kind of things, given our experience in Ukraine.
Do you believe this is going to happen? Do you believe that this now is not Ukraine asking them to change? It's the whole situation just forcing NATO to change. Do you believe the change will happen?
I don't think they will change fast. It's very slow organization. Of course, different countries, they will react in their own way with their own capabilities to improve the safety and security of the airspace, like Article 3 of the Alliance requires. For countries who are next to Ukraine, so Poland, Romania, Slovakia, and even Hungary, they have to think about themselves first, what they are going to do in case of the drone attacks, not only from Russia, but also from other directions, from other maybe terrorist organizations. It's a new capability of the modern warfare, unmanned systems, which requires a different approach, which is different from classic approach which NATO is based on. That's why they have to rethink all this. But I don't think they will do it fast. It's a very bureaucratic system. All in Poland and neighboring countries, they will try to do something, but without Ukraine, they are not capable to do that.
Well, at least great to hear that for now. Okay, let's switch to the other part of the incident. With all these incidents on the Polish border and everything, is the World War III looming closer, you think? Or maybe it is already onwards?
I don't think so. It's not about Russia looking for any kind of occasion to start invasion to Poland or to NATO countries.
Right.
I think it's a mixture of let it be so, poor Russian management of the capabilities they have as drones. So we know that they are not very good in terms of the control, and so we see a lot of drones lost on our territories because of malfunctions, poor quality, jamming, and other things. So it's not excluded that a lot of drones which took part in attack against Ukraine, they found themselves in Poland. At the same time, given the very tricky mental condition of Russian leadership, of course, they will try to touch to see what is the reaction of neighboring countries in terms of that kind of incidents. And so they really understood that the performance in Poland was very, very primitive.
It was indeed. But all right, with all this, let's call it, this is obviously, okay, they don't want to start a war, but this is a provocation, intentional or not intentional. But with these provocations from Russia against the West, this hybrid warfare in general that Russia wages against the West, if we take a time span, say, from 2022 to 2025, the total number of provocations did increase or decrease?
It's difficult to judge about the number of provocations from the military point of view. There are a lot of provocations of Russian propaganda machine. They're using, first of all, information warfare against Europe in this conflict with Ukraine. That's why there are a lot of provocations on the rise in this area. Concerning the military things, it's not easy. It's a lack of information about the real facts. Then Russia just sent something to neighboring countries because, for example, countries like Romania, they prefer not to public a lot of information, trying to downsize the effect of drone operations, Russian drone operations in the Danube River. That's why I don't think there is a critical rise of the provocation on the ground from military point of view.
Okay.
But there is a lot of other things which are on the rise in information warfare and other things.
Right, this is the hybrid war after all. But should NATO, in the conditions of this hybrid war, should NATO move from reacting to proacting, preventing measures on its eastern flank? You know what? I'll pass it right with a question to you. If you would be in charge of NATO, what would you do, sir, to deter Russia, both in a hybrid and not so hybrid aggression of it?
Russia is a collective body. So all decisions they do, it's not by the Secretary General, but special headquarters, teams, groups, and based on consensus. The problem with NATO is they don't have proactive mechanism in the status. They have only defense and reacting mechanism to something happen. So they can't do something to stop the enemy before they can see the invasion on their territory. There's a challenge. There's a challenge. And to change this mentality, to change the vision of NATO from reacting to proacting, it requires a change in the statute, in the basic documents they have in this arrangement. It requires a consensus of all countries in NATO saying, yes, we are ready to kill Russians before they can think about crossing another border. It's proaction. So I am not sure they are ready for that. NATO was created as a defensive bloc.
Right.
And that's one of the problems they have now with the situation with Ukraine. They really don't know how to react in case of a drone attack or something.
Right. Okay, I guess that was it. I have a lot of questions, but I just don't have any more time for today. But please promise me, again, to address your expertise, which is immense. Thank you so very much for finding time and for being proactive. Thank you.
Thank you. Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
We had Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine in 2020 to 2023, and the same man who was a Defence Attaché of Ukraine to the United States in years 2015-2018, Major General Volodymyr Havrylov, at us with UATV. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Goodbye. Subscribe to UATV English and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.